Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuznuz here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make an optimal PVM interface for yourself. So this video is basically going to show you what I prefer to have on my interface for PVM purposes. Of course, everyone is different, so you may hate my layout, you may absolutely hate it, but the key things I'm going to be showing you is the type of stuff you want on your screen, not necessarily where to put it. You can, come up with the specifics and figure out what you think looks the nicest. I'm going to show you what I personally prefer. Again, a lot of people might not like it and it might not be your style, and that's okay, but I wanted to go in what I want to have on my screen for PVM at all times and why it's important to have those on the screen, how to put them on your screen, stuff like that. So here I am on actually my Hardcore Iron Man, and I'm going to be making the interface setup here. So we're going to start, and basically this is kind of the default screen that you're going to get when you start playing the game. I think it's the RS3 default. So the first thing we're going to want to do is decide where we want specific things. So what I'm going to do is you can actually drag your skills here and just put it in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, put everything here in this box just to get it out of the way. Stuff like action bars I'm going to put down here, and now we're just going to work from here. So obviously the first thing is your mini map. I don't usually like a particularly large mini map, but I'll usually make it a bit larger than the default. I know some people have it like this, but I personally like it kind of like this. I like it in the top right of my screen. I'm pretty sure that's where it was on Runescape 2, and I've just gotten used to it, so that's where I'm going to put that. Now we're going to go into some other things for PVM. So your equipment. Obviously, this is an important part for PVM. You can actually find this under this tab of the ribbon. So the ribbon is where you're going to be finding most of your things. So for the equipment, I usually like it over here under my minimap. I kind of like it like this. If you stretch it out enough, you'll be able to actually see your character. So I kind of like mine like this. So I'm going to put mine here. Equipment's nice just to see, make sure you have everything on. If you're activating like your scrimshaw and stuff from here, it's a good spot to have it. Of course, I usually activate all my stuff from my action bar, but this is a good place to have it. But you should definitely have your equipment on your screen somewhere. Wherever you want to put it is fine. So if you're following along and making this, with me, I would put your equipment somewhere you think it fits. Don't make it too huge. Like it doesn't need to be like this big, but I just have it like this so I can see my character. Next, what we're gonna do is I personally enjoy. I'm in a clan, so I like to have the list of people in the clan. So it kind of fits nicely right here. You can make your interface bigger if you want, but I personally have a clan chat there, and then I actually have the friends chat there as well. So let me get that out here. Here it is, and I drag them in here. So if I want to join or leave a clan chat, friends chat, it's useful for if you're joining any PVM clans or friends chats. I just have that here. So that's what I have right there. Now next, something you're going to want on your screen at all times when you PVM, very important, is your summoning familiar. Now I don't have even summoning unlocked on this account, so you're not going to see the familiar, but I usually have mine right down here at the bottom of the screen. Now the reason I have it down here is because my inventory is actually going to go right here, and it makes it easy to see what I have in my familiar, if my familiar is running out of scrolls, stuff like that. You don't have to have your familiar on the screen. I just really like it there. You can obviously go, take BOB and not have to click on the interface, which is usually what I do anyway. But it's nice to be there just so your familiar is full or has scrolls. So you don't have to, click in one of these and check every time. So I personally like my summoning familiar right here, and this is how I usually have the right side of my screen. Of course, again, this is all up to you and how you want to, coordinate things and put it around, but familiars are very, very useful to have on your screen for PVM. So the next thing we're going to go into is your inventory. So I'm going to actually move these action bars. which can be a little bit annoying to move. So we're going to go with your inventory, which you can find right here, the same place you found your equipment. And I personally put my inventory right here next to my summoning familiar. This is the spot that I've always been used to having my inventory, so I'm going to put it here. Some people may like it right in the middle, over to the left. It's just all what you're used to, but of course you've got to have your inventory on the screen. Something I like to do actually is go to the, where is it? If you go to your interface and then you go to inventory, you can actually set the columns. So I personally like to have 4 columns. It's just how I'm used to it. I'm not sure if this is how the original inventory used to be, but it is where I like to have it. So I just have my inventory with 4 columns, or 4 across. You can do it to 3, you can do it to 5. You can just make it fit in there however you want, but I personally like 4. This is a nice way to kind of get your inventory how you like in these settings, so it's pretty nice. So now that we have the inventory, the next thing we're going to go for is our action bars. Now, action bars are very important. I know a lot of people that don't even know how to get more than 1 action bar on the screen. So I'm pretty sure, let's see. If we go to action bars in combat and action bars, you can display additional action bars here. So you can actually have up to 5 action bars at once. So I have all my action bars showing here. You can pick which ones. And so if you only have 1 action bar, I would definitely recommend getting all the action bars, just because when you're doing high level PVM, you're going to want as much room on your action bars as you can get. So what I personally like to do is I like to have my main action bar right here in the middle of my screen. It's easiest to see when I'm doing abilities and stuff. It just fits perfectly well because I'll be looking at either my action bar, inventory, and obviously the middle of the screen for what I'm doing. So this is a really good spot. And then I like to put the rest of the action bars under this. So you kind of have like a big, huge action bar. This is how I personally like it. You should do it how you feel like it looks the best. But I would definitely recommend having at least 3 action bars, I would say, for defensive prayers, everything like that. But I just like to have 5 just because it gives me the most freedom. So next, usually in this little space down here, I'm never sure what to put. So what I do is I just put the ribbon down here and expand it a bit, and you can put more icons on this as I usually do. But usually I put this down here. Of course, what you can also do is you can just move all this down and just have it there. But I kind of like everything flush together. But I'll just put the ribbon down there for now. So action bars are very, very important to PVMing, so you're going to want those. Next, something you should absolutely have on your screen for PVMing is going to be your prayers. Now, I believe my prayers are in here. They are. So prayers. So I usually have prayers over here. Let me make it a little bit smaller here. So I usually have prayers over here if they want to fit, because I don't usually click my prayers, but sometimes I'll come over here and click prayers, but usually it's just my quick prayers. But sometimes you'll have to come over here and click your prayers. So I'll have them over here, and it's also nice to make sure they're activated. So I do personally like to have prayers on my screen. You don't necessarily have to, but as with the summoning familiar, I definitely like having these on screen. So next thing we're going to do is I usually like to have my chat over here. The reason I like to have my chat over here is because, again, I'm pretty sure this is where the chat used to be in RuneScape 2, so I kind of get used to it. And what I do is I usually just put all my chats here, which is a nice thing to do just to condense things. This doesn't have anything to do with PVM, but of course you'll want to have like chats for when you're grouping or you're in a clan and doing PVM with people. So it's a nice spot to have those. And another thing that I like to do is I like to have my magic book, and I like to put it right here below the chat. You can put this where the prayer is and stuff like that, but the reason I like this here is so I can change my auto cast spell if I need, for things if I'm on Ancients. You know, sometimes I'll like to Blood Barrage versus Ice Barrage. If you want to make sure that you have your spells auto-casted, it's nice to have there. So this is personally what I have in this little spot right here. You could switch it around with the prayers and switch spots. I don't like my chat box particularly huge, so that's why I have it here. And yeah, this is basically how my interface is set up. Now, of course, we're going to go into the 3D editing. So this is something a lot of people actually don't even know exists, which is crazy. But if you go to the edit layout mode and then you click advanced options, you'll get all these pop-ups. And basically what this can do is you can basically change the size of basically everything. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down here to game view. You can see how my game view is kind of restricted. I'll just show you guys here. So like if I look over here, I can't actually see this full house over here. I can't see fully over here. There's stuff here that my interface is blocking, as you can see. So the way to fix this is you go obviously to edit layout mode, advanced options, and you scroll down and you go to the game view. And what this will do is make your game view, it lets you click it. So what you're going to do is see you can drag the game view and make it smaller. So usually I make mine smaller and then I bring it up here and I make it fit to my screen how I want. So I usually fit it right snug in there. So it basically fits perfectly with my interface. So my interface is not blocking any of my views. So now it scales and I can see everything. The interface is not blocking any view. So that's one thing you can do with the edit layout mode. The second thing is things like your buff bar. So I usually prefer to have my buff bar over here. This is another key thing you're going to want for PVM. You always want to see your buffs and debuffs. So what I do is I have my buff bar right here, and then I have my debuff bar here. You can put them wherever you like, but it's important that you move them to a spot that that you think fits well. This kind of just gives you a placeholder for how it looks and stuff. So buff bar and debuff bar are a big thing. You can move around stuff like, you know, XP pop-ups, stuff like that. They don't really have to do with PVM. Let's see what else we have here. We have loot, which is basically if you do area loot, it'll pop up. So I usually put mine somewhere over here. Slayer counter, which is right here. I usually like to have mine somewhere so it's kind of hovering right over the interface. You can actually put it on the interface or not, but I usually put mine somewhere over here. Those are the main things you're going to want to have. You can have like the clock, you can change where that is. I usually will put mine somewhere near the Slayer counter as well. You can just get rid of it if you want to, but we'll leave it there. We have, let's see, boss timer. This is a nice thing to see when you're killing bosses. I'll usually have mine either to the top right or down here with the Slayer counter. So we'll put that down there. And then, of course, since we change our interface, we may want to change our bank, move it to the middle a little bit more. So now if you save and exit, everything will be where you want. So when the bank pops up, it'll be exactly where you put it. Same with the debuff bar and stuff like that. Again, you do not have to copy my interface exactly. You should, be creative with your own. I'm just telling you the things that I think are very important to put on your screen and position in a nice way. So the last thing we're going to go to here is the settings, and I'm actually going to show you something else you can do. So when you go to your interface, you can do something called slim headers. So let me just show you what that looks like. So if I close my interface, you can see my headers are very slim. I'll actually have to fix this one right here because it's not perfectly there, but let's see. Slim headers, lock the interface. So now you can see my interface headers are very slim and they all go around in a nice even way. I personally really like this view. Of course, you can not do slim headers. And then if your interface is unlocked, it'll look kind of like this. So it'll, say in brown what everything is. I personally do not like that look at all. So I go for go for the slim headers. So as you can see here, turn them on. All right. So the next thing you can do is you can do transparency. Now this will basically make things transparent. Now with the way I have my interface set up, this looks really bad, as you can see, because there's just black behind it. I personally have always played with transparency at 0, so my interface is solid. Something you can do that I'll show you here is, if you wanted to, you could go to your settings and go to the edit layout mode, and you could go to your game view again. And if you prefer a bigger game view, which some people do, you can drag your game view and make it your entire screen like it once was. And then you can go to your settings and you can go to your transparency and you can make it transparent. So this way you can see what's under the interfaces. I personally, this view, I just don't like it. It's not, it's just not my preference, but I know a lot of people that do. So this is a nice option if you prefer the transparent type of interface. But for me personally, it doesn't look too bad like this. But for me personally, if something's on my, like if I can see something on my screen, like this house, this church over here, I want to be able to click it. So I can't click it like this. So personally, this isn't my cup of tea, but I know, of course, a lot of people like it. So, that's also an option that you can do there. But for me, I just prefer to have the game view smaller and have my transparency kind of be its own thing. So this is basically how I like my PVM setup. This is how I've had it forever. I hope this video helped you guys out. Feel free to leave me a comment. Tell me if anything here helped you that you weren't aware of, because there's a lot of things that people don't know about the interface. People were commenting on my last video that they didn't even know how to get multiple action bars, which is huge for PVM. So yeah, I hope this helped you guys out. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Turn on your notifications so you get to see my videos immediately, because I know sometimes my videos don't go in people's subscription boxes, so you may have to hit the notification bell. Make sure to like the video if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. I am almost at 2K subscribers, so I really appreciate all the support lately. I also have channel memberships now. Just recently got them, so if you'd like to support me and the channel, there's a link in the description. I really appreciate it if you do. Of course, you don't have to, but you watching is just enough for me. But that's a little extra thing if you want to get some perks. I try to make the perks interesting and stuff, so you can, PVM with me, stuff like that. So if you want to look at that, you can. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this video helped you out.